Hi, my name is Sandra Donald and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Canada, and I'd like to share a couple of cards that I made today. I'm using the painted glass stamp set. The first card I used the Noble Peacock foil sheets and the Perennial Essence cardstock. I cut the Old Olive cardstock 1.5 inches by 5.5. I cut 2 of them and I glued them on each side of my card base. It's a very vanilla card base. Then I took the Perennial Essence piece of cardstock and I glued it onto a black base. I cut a piece of very vanilla cardstock 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches, and I stamped my sentiment in Memento ink. And then using fine tip glue pen, I very carefully put glue on the die cut. I let it sit for a few seconds because it kind of needs to set, otherwise it slips all over the place. Then I attached dimensionals to the back of my sentiment and put the die cut on the front. I laid some blocks on top to help the glue stick, and then using the Old Olive foil, I wanted to cut out a couple of butterflies. So using the Butterfly Beauty Thinlits, I cut a strip that fit just the 2 butterflies on the bottom that I wanted. And I pulled in my Big Shot and cut those 2 pieces out. I then attached my sentiment onto the front of the card, and taking the 2 butterflies that I used, I attached glue, and as the sentiment was popped up, I attached a couple of mini dimensionals to one side of the butterfly so that it would be popped up as well. Then I put the second butterfly on the bottom of the card, and voila, all done. For my second card, I took a very vanilla cardstock base and a piece of matting 5.5 by 4.25, which I am going to cut out my window. And I took the Mosaic Mood DSP and I cut a piece just slightly smaller, so 5.25 by 4 inches, and glued it to my base. Then I took my mat with the window shape cut out and I glued it on top. And then I had taken my die cut and I had cut it out in black cardstock. So using the fine tip glue pen again, I very carefully glued the areas that had the wider spaces. And again, I like to let the fine tip glue sit for a little bit so that it sets a bit before I put it on my card. Next, I did my sentiment. I took a scrap of Very Vanilla, and using the stitch nested label dies, I stamped Have a Beautiful Day and then cut it out. I mounted the back with dimensionals, and using the Memento ink, I stamped a butterfly on a piece of Very Vanilla scrap. Using my stamping markers, I used Rococo Rose, Blushing Bride, and Black, and I've sped up the video because watching me color was like watching paint dry. And these colors are the same colors that are in the mosaic paper on my card. And then I attached my sentiment, attached a bit of glue, and attached my butterfly, and that's my card. Thank you for stamping with me today. Hope you enjoyed my first attempt at a YouTube video.